Some fireworks for Hugh Freeze on the 4th of July as three-star tight end Kinrell White commits to the Auburn Tigers. Yes, sir. Welcome to the Uptempo Podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Smith. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July. Hope everybody's fingers are still attached to their hand, man. But big news yesterday for our Auburn Tigers, for Hugh Freeze. We had to have some positive momentum on the recruiting trail. It's been scarce lately out there, guys, but three-star tight end Kinrell White has committed to Auburn out of Atlanta, Georgia, 6'4", 210 pounds. And I just did the film breakdown for our members, and I think this kid is super athletic. I think he is very underrated, and I love the way that he can fit into Hugh Freeze's offense. I think Hugh and Derek Nixon will be able to cook up some special stuff for a talent like Kinrell. Before we get into the player profile, though, he did have some quotes. He was asked why Auburn, and Jeffrey Lee over at Auburn Live on 3 has the article. Here is what Kinrell said when asked why he picked the Tigers. He says, "It's Auburn for me. I love Auburn. It's always been a dream of mine to play in the SEC. Ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to play in that league, and I feel like I can make a big difference for an SEC program." He then goes on to say, speaking on the offense, "I love how they're going to use me in their offense. I think I'm a great fit. They want to use me like a hybrid. I can match up with a linebacker and win that matchup easily. I can also move outside and win over there if I need to." When speaking on his relationship with Kenyatta Watson, he says, "I have a great relationship with Coach Kenyatta and Coach Ben. Coach Kenyatta has been there for me for 4 years. When he was at Georgia Tech, he offered me, and now at Auburn. He's a real stand-up guy, and I love that man. He's done things for me that no coach has ever done. He's never given up. He's never left me out, and he's included me in everything that he has done." So Coach Kenyatta Watson working that Atlanta area big time, man. It's an area that we know Auburn has to win, right? Auburn has to go into Georgia and win their fair share of battles. And if you're Auburn and you see a three-star tight end that you want in Kinrell that you think can fit your offense, you can't let him go to Virginia Tech. And Auburn's just, let's be honest, you've lost some battles lately. You know, Janarius Gray to Kentucky, Carter and Rankins to Florida State. You've lost some battles that you feel like you shouldn't have lost. So Auburn should beat Virginia Tech out for anybody, but especially tight ends with Hugh Freeze as your coach. And they were able to do it here. So good for Auburn to kind of get back on track, see one go through the hoop, win a battle on recruiting trail, and hopefully this can kickstart this thing moving forward and get this 2026 class back on track. But regardless of all of that, I think Kinrell is a great fit for what Hugh Freeze wants. When you look at what Kinrell can bring to this Auburn football team, let me say this. Fast and physical, dynamic. Anytime he touches the football, it might be a house call. It could go to the house. It's not often that you turn on the tape and you see a tight end receiving a jet sweep and taking it 25 yards up the field. It's not often that you turn on the tape and you see a tight end return a kick for a touchdown. Playing free safety, he jumps in front of the ball, takes it 80 yards for a touchdown. Just anytime he touches the ball, special teams, defense, offense, catching the football, rushing the football, he seems to find the end zone. And it's one of those classic 6'4" frames where it doesn't look like he's moving that fast. And then you look up and everybody's 15, 20 yards behind him. Those long strides, and he's just slowly left everybody on the field. He's just a step above the competition. And there's plenty of football players in Atlanta, Georgia. That is an area that is ripe with talent. And even that being the case, man, the athleticism for a 6'4", 210-pound frame, it really pops, man. It really stands out. And this is not the kind of kid where I'm saying definite, surefire NFL talent, but that playmaking ability, that athleticism that he has is definitely NFL level. So if he can tap into the rest of his game and kind of round that out, sky's the limit for this kid, man. When I say physical, that's the first thing that really impresses me, because when you're talking about a hybrid tight end, you're expecting him to be pretty athletic. You know, that usually means that the body type is a little bit too big to be a wide receiver, but not quite big enough to be a traditional tight end. But in a lot of times, those hybrid tight ends, they run into a problem when it comes to blocking. You're never going to be asked to be a full-time blocker. No one's going to ask him to do Luke Deal type stuff, but there's got to be some of it, right? There's got to be some blocking if you're going to play the hybrid role. Otherwise, you're just a glorified wide receiver. But if you can block a little bit, if you can be steady out there, if you can be dependable when it comes to that blocking, even in that hybrid role, if you can do some of that, if you can be serviceable, it opens up the playbook and it opens up a lot of options for the offensive coordinator and just what he can do with you. And it's high school, but there are several plays on the tape where Kentrell just pancakes the defender. He just buries him. So will he be able to just out muscle and out athlete the guy in front of him in the SEC the way he does in high school on some of those blocking scenarios? Probably not, but it says a lot about his willingness. He's willing to put his nose in there. He's willing to put his hand in the dirt and really get after it and be a physical football player. He's not going to play defense in high school. And you see these big time prospects play two ways in high school all the time. But one thing that stands out on his defense tape is it's physical. There's a couple of plays. There's one where he sacks a quarterback and he suplexes him to the ground. Remember how Nick Fairley did, old boy from LSU? The same thing. He picks him up and he suplexes him to the ground. And even on defense, he finishes his tackles with a certain physicality, driving the ball carrier, driving the guy on offense into the ground and really making him feel his presence. So he also has a couple of block kicks, some block punts on his tape as well. So you're looking at a kid that is versatile. You can kind of put him all over the field and he can do a tons of different things because he just has that raw athletic ability. He's quick, he's fast, he can jump high, he's strong. He's just kind of a freak, man. He's just kind of a freak. And if he can take that ability to block to the next level, when you look at his hands, his ability to run all kinds of routes, inside, outside, come across the middle. He has a couple of highlights where he's coming across the middle, taking the hit as he's coming across the middle. So just really kind of plays football with that physical nature on top of having that home run ability. As soon as he touches that thing, it could be a house call. I think that when he's a freshman, he can contribute on special teams very early. So there's just a lot you can do with a guy like this. And it's really exciting. And when you look forward to Auburn's tight end room, you kind of look at the future. There's a lot of question marks. There's questions about Auburn's tight end room coming into this 2025 season. So when we look forward to 2026, there's really I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. And you can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm not looking at anybody in the 2026 season at tight end that's got any positions locked up. So this is a big time pickup. When you look at Hollis Davidson, who wasn't able to participate in the spring for Auburn, they kind of, two athletic guys. So maybe you're able to get those guys on the field at the same time and do some mismatches. You look at the studs that Auburn has in the wide receiver room. When you really kind of start to looking out at what Hugh Freeze and Derek Nitz can do on offense with this guy, they can match up and do a ton of different things. And like I said, there's just not a whole lot in that tight end room that's going to keep him from doing what he needs to do. The sky's the limit. If Kentrell can come in and he can learn the offense quickly, he proves that he's ready to be on the field quickly and can hop right into SEC competition, then he's going to have opportunities as a true freshman. We'll see what Auburn does after the season in the transfer portal and all that. But as it currently sits, looking at the depth chart, opportunity is right there for this young man. The opportunity for early playing time to come in and climb that depth chart really quick is right there. So I think he saw that as well. And when you have this kind of playmaking ability that can't be taught, you can get on the field early. Auburn and Hugh Freeze don't have to ask Kentrell to do a ton of things as a freshman, but there's some things that you can draw up to get the football in his hands and just let him get out there and make a play. So I'm still very high on Hollis Davidson. I think he's going to, as the season progresses this year, I think that he's going to get more and more comfortable in the offense and be a solid contributor in that tight end room. And then I think that if you're looking forward into next year, I think a Hollis Davidson, Kinrell White kind of combination, I think you're going to have two really athletic guys on the roster that can do a lot of things from that tight end position. And it's really exciting, man. So I love this pickup for Auburn. You've heard me bringing up the memberships and the film breakdowns. Here's how you can become a part of that. $3.99 a month will get you access to the JV squad. $5.99 a month will get you access to the varsity squad. JV squad has members only live chat, member shout outs, priority reply to comments, early access to videos, and exclusive gifts. The varsity squad gets you all that, plus recruiting update videos, game day group chat, gameplay with you. EA College Football 26 drops this Monday. So if you want to get into the online dynasty, if you want to just play me, on random, whatever, this is the way to do that. And you get discounted merchandise. Also, credentials are approved. Hotel is booked for Atlanta, Georgia, SEC Media Days next week. Really fired up. And first off, big thank you to the Uptempo gang, all you guys out there. It wouldn't have been possible without you. Some of you guys have been supporting me from day one when I was just calling in to shows and all that kind of stuff. And I just to see where we are now, man. It's really awesome, and I can't thank y'all enough. But tons of content coming out from SEC Media Days as well. I'll be with Mike and Ike, our guys over at the War Report, and I'm really just fired up to do all that. So exclusive content from Atlanta, from SEC Media Days for our members as well. So sign up today. More commitments coming down the pipe. That means more film breakdown. I can't wait to do it. And as high school football gets kicked underway here in about 6-7 weeks, I will be traveling to the games every Friday night like I do, watching these prospects up close and impersonal, and then I will have the exclusive member pods for you guys talking about what I saw. So come be a part of the Uptempo family, man. We continue to grow every day. Sign up for the memberships. We would love to have you. It's great content, and I want to thank all of y'all that continue to support us in that way. So EA College Football 26, like I mentioned, is dropping this Monday. I will be back Monday night. We will go live. We will do a live look at Auburn. We will go through the ratings. I'll play a game with them. We'll kind of see what the intro looks like, what the uniforms look like, what the stadium looks like, and we'll go through the ratings and talk about if they're fair or foul. Did EA miss? We know our guy Keldrick Falk is the highest rated player in the game. I believe he's a 93, maybe a 94 overall. So we'll get in there. I'll play the game. I would love for you guys to get in the chat, interact and tell me what you think about the ratings and all that. So that'll be Monday night. Shooting for 7:30, kind of depends on what time I get off. That'll be fun. And then, like I said, next week, SEC Media Days, and we'll really kind of start to pump up this content and really get it rolling right now. So thank you guys for watching, man. Please smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and share this thing out on social media. It helps me out so much. One retweet could put 100 new eyes on this episode. So love you guys. Catch you on the next one. War Damn Eagle, baby. I'm out.